What is up, slash all league? You got TS. I almost said my name. You got Brendan here. You got Bredicus here. We're gonna have Skiz joining us here soon to cast our first game of season two. We have the Banana Hammock Haymakers versus the Ward Seekers. Only one returning player from season one. It's Yusuf, the mid laner for Ward Seekers this match. So a lot of new faces to get familiar with today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see a lot of new players. This is a lot overall. The skill level of the players is going to be higher here since we split up upper division and lower division. So I'm really excited for a really intense game tonight. Um, I know you were talking about on the podcast, Vi up in the top lane. When you look at the roster for Banana Hammock Haymakers, who are some players that stick out to you?
Yeah, so we've played them one time. Obviously, Vi in the top lane, pulling out the Vi in the top lane. Unique pick for that. I want to say also that they're mid laner. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super familiar with a lot of these players, so I'm excited to get a first look here. I did want to kind of briefly go over, we did have a match go down Monday, so just to get an update on the league. And a little misstep on our part. Goon Squad White faced off against Snake Pit, who we had preseason ranked number 4. Squad White was preseason ranked number 8, dead last. They 2-0'd Snake Pit in their first match against them.
Yeah, as we go on, we're going to be streaming maybe one or two games a week. That does not mean that games aren't happening. Already season two, forgive me, on the way. With a Goon Squad White kind of wiping the floor.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit of fuel under their fire. Although it's Gecko, I talked to him. He said they didn't need it, but it was just added, uh, like I said, fuel to the fire for them to come out and dominate Snake Pit like that. So excited to see them when we get to see those two teams on the broadcast for sure.
Um, on the other side, though, for Ward Seekers, we got it's Yosef returning. Any other players on this squad that stick out to you?
I mean, so I believe Fatboy Gamer, their top laner, is in Iron. Although from what I've heard, he has terrible MMR and does not play like in Iron. No, that's for Snake Pit actually. See, I'm already getting my teams confused. I'll get there eventually. But yeah, they do have a sub. A free young thug is subbing in, so that is one person to keep your eye on that was not their intended starter. So we'll see how he performs in the bot lane with Lord of the Gap.
I see Skiz has joined here. We'll see. We're getting the roster together as both teams getting here set up in the lobbies. We'll see if we head into the draft at 8 as planned.
Yeah, we've been here ready for a while, so I would expect us to head in to the draft at 8. I did ask them to wait until 8, so both teams are ready. One team is ready up, so once we head in that draft, I will give you guys the heads up. What's up, Skiz?
Gentlemen, how's it going, guys?
Well, we're
Fantastic.
excited to get this up and going.
Absolutely. I'm excited to dive into my first cast. Excited to see Fatboy Gamer 56 and Cheese Guzzler in action, as you know. My personal MVP picks as of the podcast. And I'm excited to get this season underway. I know we have had one game played so far. It was not casted, right? So this is our first casted game of the season going up. And,
Yep, a ton of new things. We get to see the new and improved. I think back to last season when we did our first game or our first cast, how drastically better we've done the production and everything. So excited to put forth a lot of our tools. Um, we got draft flow set up. We got a bunch of the overlays set up. So I'm excited to put together a nice product for you guys, especially like this is for the players. So um, excited to keep the storylines rolling. And yeah,
Give me 1 second, Brendan.
sure.
all right, so let's get a little bit of a preview on this one. We have both. So let's see, it's Ward Seekers against
right.
BHH.
With
I'm
that
pulling
being
up
said,
banana
they
hammocks.
have readied the draft, so we're going to go ahead and send it into the draft for game 1.
So if I'm not wrong, these are 2 brand new teams, correct?
Correct. We have 1 returning player. It's Yusuf Reward Seekers, but the other 9 players are brand new.
So we got some young blood out for the /all league. No storylines here. They're really looking to invent themselves as players, looking to enter the tournament strong. Neither of these teams are going to want to give any ground in terms of personal play. I know coming in as new players to the league, besides, as you said, it's Yusuf, they're all going to want to establish themselves as some of the top talent in the league. They're going to want to make a name for themselves, and they're going to want to look good in the spotlight.
Yeah, one thing to
As
look
would
out
I.
for, it's Yusuf. Last season, I think it was week 1, opened up with a 22 kill game on LeBlanc. So he is not,
Wow.
yes, he is not a stranger to hard carrying games. So definitely a spotlight to look out for on the Ward Seekers. But the other 4 players, they're friends of his, and like we mentioned in the podcast, these guys play a lot together, so we'll get to see the chemistry that maybe that can give them the edge in this game. And as I talk about the 22 kill game LeBlanc, there goes the LeBlanc ban.
And yeah, you can't really blame him for that LeBlanc ban. They know that he's such a strong, potent player on that LeBlanc, and mid, I think, honestly, is one of the most, if not the most important lanes. Getting the carry pick for Ward Seekers out of there is a very smart play.
Yeah, Morgana, the last round ban for Banana Hammock Haymakers. 2 sport bans coming out in the last round. So we'll see what the priority first pick is for Ward Seekers. Banana Hammock Haymakers. Go ahead.
I like the Morgana ban. It just opens the table up for any Thresh, Blitzcrank, Nautilus looks. Like, we can get some really aggressive supports in the early game here with that ban.
Yeah, and kind of a little, one of the counters to Morgana, or one of the reasons you want to ban Morgana is if Banana Hammock Haymakers was trying to look for that Vi, you want to make sure that Black Shield isn't available, so Ward Seeker is taking the opportunity to take away Vi first in this draft.
Jin already locked in. We'll to see. I think Milio pairs really well with Jin.
Milio, or something. I mean, the Zyra is a good ban away from Ward Seekers. Maybe thinking that Banana Hammock was going to go for the Gen, something that can provide a lot of damage to initiate that passive to be able to stun.
But with
yeah,
Xayah and
Zhao.
Xin Zhao answer for the Vi, but both Xayah and Kai'Sa are still on the table, so we'll have to see how confident this Jin pick was.
One of the weaknesses of a Kai'Sa in lane are longer range ADCs, so that is something to keep in mind. But I like the Braum pick here already.
I don't think I would necessarily pick the Kai'Sa into the Jin, but we'll have to see if they think they can play it. That depends if they want to go with a dive support, maybe get out the Thresh, or as you said earlier, one of those hook characters to pull into the Kai'Sa. Maybe they think they can outrange the Xin, but curious to see if this Braum is going to go through. Did it? I can't quite tell.
Braum was locked in.
Yep.
Braum is in.
Then Jax being the next pick for Ward Seekers, and then the Xerath being locked in for Banana Hammock. That is a long range bot lane that's going to be very annoying to deal with in lane.
It's a bit troll, if you ask me. It's just such a niche play style, both having the long range ultimates, but lower intensity amateur league. This is the kind of niche things you can pull out to cheat away a game or two.
The Samira ban into the long range, but I'm not too sure what the reason for that Samira ban is. I mean, they're already going to be poking. I guess they don't want to be pressured too hard out of lane.
The projectiles would be pretty deadly. We'll have to see.
True.
Potential Yasuo ban here too. Just take away any champions that block projectiles.
Well, also one of the weaknesses of an ADC like Jen with no mobility are dive champions. That could be another reason to take away the Samira as well. I like the Caitlyn ban. No Ash ban here. Getting the double Freylord bot lane could be an option for Ward Seekers. Thinking on that last ban, Skarner ban. There was some chat on the Discord about the Skarner top, so I guess they're gonna respect that.
I mean, Vi top, Skarner top. How many picks can you really respect here before you're wasting bans?
Well, I'm thinking the Pantheon is going to the top lane, unless they want to flex there to the mid and Pantheon to support. But if I remember correctly, I believe Vi, who that's gonna get confusing. Vi is the top laner for Banana Hammock Haymakers, plays the Pantheon themselves.
So we're looking at it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say name of the game is aggressive top laners, and that's all Pantheon does.
I like this pick for its Yusuf. As the only player here that I've seen a lot of gameplay from, the Ahri being a facilitator, being able to roam, like I said, he was very proficient on the LeBlanc, so Ahri fits that playstyle as well.
Ahri's also going to force the mid lane pick to be either more aggressive or to assimilate to that sort of passive gameplay, that sort of ranged gameplay of the Ahri. We'll have to see what they're going to opt for, unless they decide to take that Xerath into the mid, but I really think that's support with the Jhin, right? I guess we'll have to see here in a second. Ashe comes out for the bot lane for Ward Seekers. And
It would be a really good... I was gonna say, it'd be a really good flex, because you don't want Xerath and Jhin, two scripted champions. If either of you catch the Ashe ult, you're dead.
And Hammock definitely making themselves very flexible here in their draft. So the Galio last pick is probably going to push everybody into the lanes that we expect. So at least from what I'm looking at here, I expect Pantheon top, Galio mid, and Jhin Xerath down in there in the bot lane. Although even then, the Galio...
I think that's very flexible, yeah, between the Galio and the Xerath. I guess it really comes down to in match on whether who's going to play where.
Either way, I like the double globals on the Galio and the Pantheon. Fight breaks out anybody. You got two people jumping into the fight.
What do we think about this Ashe versus Jhin matchup? Who do we have coming out on top here with the Braum? Ashe is going to be a little bit more protected than, unless the Galio goes with Jhin, then that's like a good bit of meat shield. But how do we feel about the bot lane right here?
Definitely... Go ahead.
I think Ward Seekers come out on top, and Ashe getting locked in so late. We got Braum Shield to stop any of those kind of global projectiles we were talking about, and the Ashe arrow, if that lands on anybody, they're both so squishy.
I almost think with that Ashe arrow in play, it's almost going to force Galio to go bot. If Xerath gets hit by that, it's game over. Or Jhin, either way. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what players pick what in terms of...
Because on the other side, if either Galio gets an early gank or Pantheon gets an early snowball, your carry is going to be everywhere on the map. So if Banana Hammock Haymakers gets a lead, it's going to be deadly because you can't run away from globals.
And now, in terms of jungle for Ward Seekers, I'm going to assume Vi? Or is Jax is predominant in the jungle now? I'm not too sure. I'm a little bit behind on my meta. What are we thinking there?
Vi will definitely be in the jungle. Jax will be in the top lane. I definitely like the Vi pick here paired with the Ahri. That's a very classic mid-jungle duo. They're going to be able to provide a lot of playmaking. And then hopefully with its use, if they can apply the pressure in the jungle invading Banana Hammock, and Ahri's going to be able to push that wave a lot quicker than Galio and be able to get on the map first.
This is for both of you guys and chat, but the subject I brought up today for the Discord, what champion audio plays in your head when you're like just going through normal day life?
I'll let the chat respond to that, and in the meantime, I think I'm gonna throw it to our new hype video as we wait for this spectator delay.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and we are into the game. I'm your main caster, Skiztastic, joined by the depth coloring of Bredicus, who's going to fill in the details for you, as he knows a lot more about the in-depth nitty-gritty of League of Legends than I do. And it looks like we have the answer to our question, as... Yep, Zerath and Jhin are going to be in the bot lane with Commander Brout as the Galio in the mid. All right, Bredicus, why don't you give me your full-on... What do you think here? Who do you got pegged in early on, 48 seconds into this match?
I mean, already it seems like just a pretty mutual start for both teams, just making sure no silly janky invades are happening. But my eyes are in the top lane and in the jungle. I think Tech, the Mac, needs to get to the top lane early, get that level 3 gank onto the top laner so that Vi can get the lead. And if you get this Pantheon ahead, you have such a big opportunity to snowball this game out of control. On the other end of it, it's just going to be very passive, very slow play. Jax farms up, Ashe farms up. It's Yosef. Yes, he's a playmaker, but he needs to get to level 6 before he can do anything. So if we get any early attention, it's going to be in the top lane.
I think early attention could be created inside of the bot lane. We'll have to see if the junglers are going to prioritize maybe punishing that Jhin and Xerath pick in the bot lane, as that's very passive. As we have some early poke damage just coming across the board as per usual. Ahri getting some intermingling fights between them and the Galio in the middle lane, and Vi is really doing a good job up here. I'm sorry, Vi is not playing Vi. That's going to be a little confusing, but the Pantheon doing some poke in the top lane as we settle in for I assume, bit of a graceful period here for the start of the game. Buffs go out as usual, no invades.
We can already see how aggressive this bot lane is going to be, though, as Lord of the Gap has landed 2 of those Q charges onto it. This poke lane will get really aggressive if they don't have the... It's kind of a skill check lane, you know? You can't sidestep like that W right there laying on both ends. If you don't sidestep these abilities, this game is going to be miserable for you.
And speaking of skill checks, Fatboy Gamer up in the top lane getting pushed out as we have an early dive in by the jungler, and Galio's gonna go here. First blood goes to Vi in the jungle, and that's gonna put them, both him and the mid laner, immediately ahead, as we also have some huge pressure by the top laner. What do you think of that early engage?
Oh, just beautiful play there by It's Yosef moving up, fading out. Oh, but a solo kill in the top lane!
And we're going to have a rebuttal here in the mid, as It's Yusuf is going to be punished for his aggressions. Wow, we have one of the earliest bits of fighting, already 2-1 in favor of this red side. Absolute beautiful play, and that's going to be a bit of an evener out in mid, but top lane getting ahead by a great play by the Pantheon to punish Jax for even thinking about leaving his tower.
Look at the power of this Pantheon. They are just moving in uncontested into the jungle. They might get this kill. They grab it.
Wow. That was a beautiful, and they're going to get the blue as well. It's Yusuf thinking about trying to get a steal, throwing the hard over, but it's not going to go. Blue in favor of the red team here, and wow, they are absolute punishing as we have another fight looking to break out. Vi's gonna dive in, hit the stun. Jax might be able to get he's gonna get the Jins out, but he's gonna be punished for it immediately as Pantheon goes in. Will he get out? Spear poke comes out. No mana left, but he gets another beautiful spear poke. It's Yusuf engaging again with the REE. He gets dove by the Galio. Galio pops his shield, backs out a little bit. We have some more poke here in the bot lane. Top, Ahri's still looking. Vi's coming back up for some potential more action as Jin's getting poked real well. Braum goes in, hits the stun. REE coming out. A little bit more damage from the Ahri as the passive comes up. Here comes the W. Xerath's real low, but will they commit under the tower? No, they're going to manage to get the Xerath out. And what do you think of this early action as we have so much damage on both sides? I'm starting to lose track as we almost get a beautiful play, but he's not going to be able to hit the stun.
It's just so equalized here in the bot lane as everybody is low. And Lord of the Gap on this Axrath pick is finally going to have advantage here. They are not going to be able to close the distance. Ashe is going to be in threat every time she steps up to CS. But this is everything that Banana Haymaker is going to hold my breath here as Taxamac is ganking again.
Getting in, but it looks like he's going to get out as the Galio missed his stun and the W there at the end. But Dragon's going to be starting to be a question here. No wards on the Dragon, but Team Blue here has the wards. They have 2 wards up there and the turtle, but not quite looking to make a play as their bot lane is real poked down on both sides. No mana for the Jhin or Xerath. That's going to be hurting them. Ashe could potentially look for a bit of a play here, but Braum not having the mana required as top lane looks like... Yeah, waiting for that level 6 as they do have the massive advantage with that Ashe ult.
Oh, there's the slow, and here comes Vi from the top lane!
And a beautiful play there as we get some more middling action here with the jungler just absolutely punishing anything It's Yusuf tries to do. And this is looking...
Makers have unlocked Vi. Already 2 kills, first ultimate thrown down bot lane, getting a kill on the AD carry, and they're grabbing first Drake of the game. This is how you snowball a lead.
And they're absolutely taking every advantage they have. 1,000 and 11,000 gold difference. excuse me, for the Ward Seekers here.
No, you had it right. It would be 102, like 1,200.
102. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you had it. You had it.
I had it. I was getting there. Little late in the day for the brain to work, but Galio moving up, holding that top control as Jax just playing his time. As Galio starts to. Did we have a lane swap here?
It looks like it. Again, the big catalyst for Banana Hammock Haymakers is this Pantheon, so they actually lane swapped it. Looks like they're gonna swap back. I liked it. I liked the Vi in the mid. This Pantheon be able to get control of the whole map, but it looks like it's gonna be the respectful swap back with a little bit of the Vi taunt in the top lane.
And I do like that little bit of versatility. You know, they're allowing that Pantheon to play his ult well. They're allowing him to move around the map and just keep control of the lead while also not jeopardizing the Galio's advantage, not jeopardizing his CS, as he's still beating the Ahri, who easily could come online at any moment here once we really start to get going in the team fights. But I believe this is a beautiful play here for the Ward Seekers, just keeping their options open and sort of allowing for multiple different uses for their top laner at any point in time. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now I was gonna say the jungler is gonna meet here and look at that instant flash by Iga. So it's gonna be full control over this second objective. But look at this poke in the bot lane. Yeah, it's gonna continue to be objective control here for Banana Hammock as Rift Herald is right there, and they force the flash out of Iga.
Clearing some wards. I think the Banana Hammocks, to keep their lead, just need to keep it calm and just play these advantage fights that they've had. They really haven't taken any outnumbered fights, I don't think. There's been a single, even 1v1 they've really, besides the top lane, Pantheon absolutely had the advantage there. They've just been playing smart, and as long as Galio here doesn't get a little too testy with Yusuf, who we know is a solid player that can make a play at any moment, they just need to keep CSing and play it a little bit slow until objectives come up. Dragon, but
oh, look at this play!
Ahri, absolute beautiful use of his ult, is going to punish the Galio, and as I just said, all he needed to do was maintain safety, and he even just under tower was not safe from its Yusuf. Absolutely.
We talked about it during the early game. This team from Ward Seekers just wants to scale up, get to that 6. As soon as it's Yusuf hits 6, he went all in and grabs a solo kill. And here we see Ashe has 6 now. Jungler's down here. There's their hero. They are going for the play. Flash forward by Cheese Guzzler, and they grab the X-Wrap. He is so squishy.
And that's exactly what we talked about. Ashe arrow equals win in the bot lane. Jungler, of course, there to help them, but they were poking with low mana, something you don't want to be doing with such a ranged comp. They had no slowdown ability at all with the Xeraths down on mana. Same with Jhin, both of them just unable to play their distance there without any abilities, and Yusuf tries to hit a combo there. It's not going to work, but Vi is going to do a beautiful little burst down and punish this Jax, who's been beating up, been getting beat up, excuse me, quite this whole time. What's going wrong with the top lane is he's going to almost die again.
Right. Oh, the Spirit doesn't close the distance. No, Vi has completed their Mythic, so this Pantheon has full control of the top lane. Fatboy Gamer will be in danger every time he steps up for a minion until he completes his Mythic. But he wants loot first, so it's going to be about 5 minutes before he gets there.
There's the globals that we talked about, as Yusuf is going to get absolutely played down in the middle lane. Pretty much a 3v1 for him, as this middle lane is just going back and forth. What are some key elements here in this battle between both mid laners?
I'm going to hold my breath here. We'll see if Vi goes in here. Fatboy Gamer trying to trade away, but again, it's the Mythic difference in the top lane. In the mid lane, it honestly is just so variable. Both the mid laners have so much CC, the Ahri Chime or the Galio knockup. It comes down to what jungler gets there first to layer the CC on top of it.
And that jungler has mostly been Vi, I'm sorry, well, Vi, not the player Vi, the character Vi of Igba, just playing very well, balancing out his CS, not too far behind the Xin Zhao, who's technically got a leg up on him in terms of kills, but that's due to mostly the plays up in the top lane. As speaking of top lane, Vi, as in Pantheon, Vi is going to pick up another kill.
Oh, it's good for the top lane. The double ultimates used here. They might grab up both of them this time. Cheese Guzzler going to commit his ultimate here.
Smart flash. Oh. But he goes back in. Sorry. That's just a good escape as Talk to the Mac goes in 1v4, but with the Jin ult, which is going to pick off Cheese Guzzler. And Mac, almost dying, pops off the Xin Zhao ult, goes back in on Young Thug as Jin picks up another double kill onto the Vi. He's going to fall, but a triple kill here as Ashe tries to get another one. Will he get it? And about evens out. One down.
Very Young Thug. Big crucial play there. Flash forward to close the distance, get inside the Xin Zhao ultimate to get the damage down onto him, and then does kill off X Millions on the back side of it. That's 2 kills over to the Ashe. It's just so, this game is in such a viable, like, such a, I can't think of the word.
Tension can be cut with a knife. It's back and forth.
Yeah, both teams are getting, executing what their team comms do. You have the Pantheon Vi in the top lane getting gold, but on the bot side of the map, you have gold going into the pocket of Ashe, and it's going to be crucial, probably in the next 10 minutes, just how much of a lead can Vi push before he gets outskilled by this Ashe.
I think it also is going to come down hugely to the 2,000 gold difference in favor of the banana hammocks. But we'll have to see. The fights have still been going back and forth, no matter the gold advantage, as we have some beautiful poke damage. Xerath ult's not really here.
Oh, and look again, he is so squishy. Ashe just puts him down into the dirt. And here comes the TP, though. Galio doesn't have the ultimate to come join the fight, though. And it's Yosef is here. Vi is here. They're going to take down the jungler. This is going to be first Drake of the game for Team Ward Seekers, and that's going to stop them from stacking Drakes. It's so crucial. Commander didn't have the Galio ultimate to try to protect Xerath on the bot side, so they just don't get to win the fight.
And that dragon is gonna hurt them as it's level on dragons and not level on towers. Red's still holding the advantage due to the top lane. But here we go. Punish. Brom's gonna go in onto Milana. Here to reinforce is the Xerath. Cheese Guzzler really low, but the Ashe W hits. Flash out from under the turret, and the Xerath W is gonna clean it up. Trade for trade down on the bot lane. ADC for jungler. The jungler struggling a little bit 1, 3, and 4, but still providing a lot of useful impact as Ashe is going to go back in, gets the passive up, keeps punishing. Does he have the ult? W doesn't hit. Xerath's going to get out.
Vi going to get spotted out here on a ward, so as soon as he does, free Young Thug starts that back. But, I mean, all of this is happening in the meantime. While they did get the Drake, Vi picked up another solo kill, so we'll see if he finds the Ashe before the recall finishes. This Pantheon is going to be so hard to contain.
I think Jax just hasn't been able to CC. His Pantheon got out to such an early lead. He's been holding it, and a 450 gold bounty on his head could swing things in favor, so he does have to play smart with his life as we start to have a little bit of intermingling around Hermit here at top lane.
Oh, ultimates are available for Dayseeker, though. Here it comes. Here comes Galio down from the sky. Xerath.
Beautiful use of the Aria.
Here comes Pantheon out of the sky.
They gotta run. Fat Boy doesn't manage to W away, and neither will the Ari, as that is top crab, as well as 2 kills here. Where Team Ready's just absolutely pulling away with that gold lead as well as objectives, as they're gonna have the Rift Herald here to pop at their disposal in either lane. Looks like they're going to also punish by taking the top blue and pushing Vi out. Will they get a dive here? Doesn't look like Vi's playing heavily enough. Igba, excuse me, not Vi. I'm losing my mind here a little bit with that, but I'm sure you get the gist. As Braum is pushing up, a little bit of lane pressure coming out. As the
Cheese Guzzler wants to defend this tower, but he just doesn't have any teammates around here to help out. We'll see if they take it down here before It's Yosef arrives. But this is what you want to do when you have the Pantheon, when you have the early game lead. You want to push the tempo as much as possible. We see them moving into the topside jungle after taking the objective, looking for the kills. You just want to shut down this team from getting any gold.
And that they are doing, they're punishing the wards, absolutely clearing out and sort of just remaining calm and not necessarily pushing as much as they possibly could, but they're going to be just holding on to the gold bounties that they have, playing as a team and using that the impact that they have from Pantheon and Galio to lead a front line in team fights, as well as just their sheer item advantage, as Jax doesn't even have his second legendary as Pantheon does. Same thing
We
with the
almost
Jhin.
have the Pantheon ultimate backup available. This is why we see Vi moving up, not necessarily entering the lane, but just hovering around it in the jungle and the river, looking for an opportunity to dive out of the sky on top of this Ashe. You kill this Ashe one more time, you have the Rift Herald in your pocket. You could be looking at a tier 1 and 2 towers. You know, get enough kills, you're pressuring an inhibitor tower. It's going to be Cheese Guzzler is the one who does step into the bush.
That's very unfortunate for Cheese Guzzler there, as he just peeked out a little bit too much, and that pressure from Vi and Mac just absolutely melting what tanky health the Brawl does have, but it's just not enough. Teammate wasn't quite committed to him, as the Jax might answer back, diving in on the Jhin, who pops that speed out, but it is going to pick him. Pantheon, as in Vi, is up here, going to probably finish the kill off with a spear once he runs him down. There he goes, absolutely just destroying that Jax's health bar, finishing off what was left as they go 1 for 1. Not bounty going in the way of the Jax, though, which could help him finish some of those items that are very necessary, as Rift Herald goes down in the bot lane, but Take the Mac might be punished for using him as the grapple comes in from the Jhin, just punishing. As we go back to the mid lane, where It's Yusuf is just getting bursted down, Take the Mac trying to run away from the Igba and for Young Thug, but nothing is a match for that powerful Ashe.
Nobody playing respectful across the map. You know, you get an AD carry with a Jax alone in lane, and he has to try to take a poke. Just not playing respectfully. It's Yosef getting picked off in the mid lane. Take the Mac getting picked off. Nobody playing respectful here, and so we're just seeing picks left and right. And that goes in the favor of Ward Seekers. If you're scaling comp, you need to get gold. Picks are going to stall this game out so long.
And we could see this being a huge mistake for Banana Hammock, is they just got a little bit too picky, so to say, as they were just trying to play those fights, and they ended up giving up the dragon, as they did not have enough dominance in the bot lane, sort of leaving it be, just trying to go back to lane here, not necessarily playing for the dragon. Something that we've seen in the past punish a lot of teams not playing objectively.
You need to check yourself here. Yes, you have the lead, but if you're dropping your Rift Herald in the bot lane, why is your ADC top lane trying to get poked down onto a Jax?
Honestly, I cannot give you the answer to that one. So they're just gonna have to recoup here and just play smart. We gotta play for these objectives, as we see them just sort of go back to what they were doing. Pantheon's back in the top lane. They're just farming the jungle, Zerath and Jin Zhao, and we'll have to see. Ward pressure is definitely in favor of the Ward Seekers here, living up to their name.
There's the Ashe arrow.
Beautiful play by It's Yusuf, absolutely capitalizing off of his bot lane's play to keep getting those picks that they need in order to get themselves back in the game. As
we can see here, one person down, and just all the gas is taken out of Banana Hammock's decision making. You're spread out across the map, clearing vision because you don't have pressure anymore. You're down 4v5.
This is something that a lot of teams, at least that I've watched, even in the finals, seem to sort of struggle with. Sometimes you come out to such an early game lead, but the bad decision making leads you along, but we'll have to see how decision making goes as this fight, as it's even. The Pantheon ult comes in, and he's going to absolutely punish Cheese Guzzler, as Fat Boy is looking to get out as this fight goes absolutely in the favor of Banana Hammocks. One more, but it's sort of, it's coming back the other way, and I don't even really know what happened there, but it absolutely came back the other way, even with the Zeralt coming in, and Ward Seekers even the scorecard and leave only him back as the Ash Arrow comes out, and it's Yusuf comes in, and where was the turning point in that fight, Bredicus? Help me out.
I wish I could tell you. I'm at a loss for words other than the fact that Ward Seekers knows what their comp wants to do. We can see a bit of a skirmish breakout in the top river, and Vi trying to execute as much pressure as possible, but he should have just backed off as soon as they got the first 2 picks. They tried to keep going, try to keep pushing tempo, and he no longer has the damage reduction from Galio, and they finally get the shutdown on him. That's 700 gold into the pocket of this Jax, who hard scales. You want to get to level 60 on this Jax, 3 items, and you might be able to take on Vi.
3-7-1 and starting to turn back the game. It's starting to look like my rank games as the Jax from Fat Boy Gamer turns an absolutely rough start in the top lane, being punished by the Pantheon. He's starting to turn it around, out CSing, getting his items online, and this Jax is going to be an absolute threat. But let's talk a little bit about the bot lane as Ash, played by Free Young Thug, is turning it around and really leading his team with those beautiful arrows. But let's take
the global
as the globals in the exactly what the team comp needs to be doing, getting those picks and not overextending. As we see, they're starting to collapse around them. The Braum coming down, the Ash looking, as well as Vi starting to peek down in the bot lane to see what they can do. 3v2, poke and get out.
They saw from them earlier though. Yes, they got the global, they got the pick, but look right here, you're putting all of your damage into a Braum shield. Free Young Thug getting free DPS in the back line. A TP to the top lane. They actually make a Baron buff. I was about to criticize them that they don't know what to do once they get a pick, but here they are. They make a Baron call with the TP, and this might go over for free. It's already down to half health.
Yusuf is here to respond though. Potentially playing, getting some absolute beautiful burst damage on the gym. Ash comes in, hits the stun on the Galio as they jive in. Yusuf taking him off. It's Mac getting dove on, absolutely taken out, and the team play possibility here by Ward Seekers just fails to just finish.
I like the call a lot from them to start Baron up, but it's Yusuf moves up such a critical play, lands the Ari charm onto the Jhin, chunks him out of the fight before a fight even begins.
And I'm starting to feel like a broken record here for Banana Hammock, but they get the picks and they don't capitalize. They had the right idea to get the pick and play Baron, but yet they didn't pull out of the bot lane. They kept pushing, and lost a player. Now they're going into they're going in with only 4-on-4 against the Baron, and they just can't pull out the fight again. Is that Ari play, as well as the Ash arrow, picking off the Galio. Where's it going wrong in the team fights here?
It's just that. They're finding the pick, but after the pick, they just try to keep pushing for aggression into the front line, and this Ash on Triforce, on Kraken Slayer within, this is a 3-item AD carry. You've made it to the late game.
The gold lead is dissipated as we enter the late game. Personally, I'd say the late game comp is leaning in favor of the Ward Seekers, and we're starting to see that really pay off with the Ari and the Ash and the Jax and the Vi. Absolute late game characters scaling, losing that Pantheon as he starts to just fall off in terms of the Jax. His impact getting erased, as well as the Galio, who was honestly fairly neutralized in that fight.
It's not entirely hopeless here for Banana Hammock Haymakers, because Ash is an immobile AD carry. If you can get on top of it, like right here, we're finding it as they try to get on top of it. Yusuf. We'll see if they get onto Young Thug here, but this Braum doing a beautiful job of just protecting the AD carry. Ash arrow onto the backline. Vi is going to go down before the AD carry does.
And that's exactly what they want to do in a team fight. They isolated the threat of the Ari. immediately forced her to pop her ult, but not for damage to get out. They forced her out of the fight and were able to negate that insane damage and focus their strength onto the Vi, who got a little bit overcommitted diving for the kill, and it's only going to even out in their favor. But I'd take that team fight as a great defense for the Banana Hammock Haymakers.
100%, because this ends the Baron buff play and you didn't even lose an inhibitor tower. It's just that right there. You can't find a pick. It doesn't do the job. You have to find a pick onto Ahri or Ashe. Pick off Vi, and it's just not going to be enough to carry out a team fight later in the game. Picking off Braum doesn't do you any good. It has to be the Ashe. It has to be the Ahri.
I think you bring up the reason that it was equalized there was because the Ashe was still online. That Ashe play absolutely, even without the Ahri out of there, Ashe was just enough damage to keep them in it. If they do not get that Ashe down, either with a Xin Zhao or just a beautiful play by anyone, to be honest, maybe a Jin stun or a Pantheon dive, they have to get Ashe. Plus that bounty gold of 700 will set them back on par almost in terms of gold. They have to kill Ashe. She should be what's in the team calls and what is on their mind right now.
And here we are, free young thug, you know, a bit of a rookie here, new to the league. Definitely came here, had an awful lane matchup into the Jin X-Wrath, played it beautifully, didn't die before 6, and got to the Ashe arrow and just started firing them off. I think he has 100% accuracy right now. I don't think I've seen an arrow miss.
Honestly, same. I could not rack my brain for a miss, but tower pressure and honestly just playing this to a key. Their early game calls, in my opinion, might be a little bit rough around the edges, but the Ward Seekers here are really making a name for themselves in terms of late game playing. They have masterfully taken almost every team fight besides the occasional pick-off getting too aggressive in the bot lane, but even then, they immediately answer back as 2 turrets will go in their favor late in this match. How important are these turrets really in the late game? Is this going to impact? How do you feel about that?
So the top lane, not necessarily, you know, it's a little bit of extra just pennies in your pocket, but that mid lane one is crucial because not only does it, you know, give you one less tower to take down before you get to the Nexus, but it opens up the map for Ward Seekers to have as much control of the jungle vision as much as everybody else. Oh, beautiful charm here.
We just talked about the ward play here. We're really not seeing too much aggressive ward placement on this side of Banana Hammock. Not a single ward in the enemy jungle, as opposed to the Ward Seekers living up to their name a little bit, getting some play forward and not letting a single thing go by in their jungle. As they start to play around the dragon, coming down, this ward pressure could lead to the win either way, as it's looking like a big fight here. The Ahri charm going to come down on the Galio, not quite a capitalization, as Wrath throws in a little bit of damage on Fatboy Gamer. Wards down here, though. We'll see forward for Banana Hammock as Ashe aggroes the dragon. It's going to come out a little bit towards their way. Absolutely in play, but Ahri just really a bunch of miss abilities on either side as we finally get some play. He's in, and that's almost Milan down. Triple stun down in the middle of the fight. Ult comes out for Jin. Damage down. 3 dead. Yusuf is going to fall though as they start to respond. Excuse me. And that's just a beautiful play by the Ahri, throwing the Eve. It's going to hit all 3 of the remaining players for Banana Hammocks as they absolutely stumble in that fight. Honestly, at the beginning of the fight, it was going their way, and there was sort of that turning point with the Ahri ult and Eve that just hit 3, doing massive damage at this point with the abilities. The stuns came out real early, but yet there wasn't the proper amount of burst damage with the Jin compared to that of the Ashe in that fight.
It looked so good for them. It looked so good for Banana Hammocks. You got Vi taking the blast one over, gets the stun onto Free Young Thug, and then you have the Galio ultimate crashing down on top of it. They managed to kill off the Ashe, but like you said, it's Yosef just came out here today to play. Popped off on the RA, landed the Q back and forth on 3 members. Flashed forward on the backside of it to kill off the AD carry.
And unable to steal the Baron with the Zerath ult. The walls are crumbling. Constantinople is falling around the side of Banana Hammock. They had it all. They were sitting on the pile of gold, almost 2,000 at one point in the game. 2 towers, as well as a dragon to start, and they've just crumbled. 4 dragons going the other way. 2 tower difference. 2 barons and Rift Heralds. Just not able to capitalize on the objectives late game as their call making.
Yeah, it's
not
interesting
just the
to say.
scaling.
You said, they started off this game around 10 minutes with a 2K gold lead. The gold difference between Ashe and Jhin alone is 3K. Ashe has 3,000 more gold than Jhin.
And that was not how it started at all. Jhin and Zerath were punishing so hard in the bot lane, not letting that Ashe and Braum combo really get close, punishing the CS. But they just played their mana poorly, they played their picks poorly, and they got punished. As, speaking of punish, talk to the Mac, about to die here, potentially, as the Ashe arrow, maybe a little bit of overkill, will finish him off. Fatboy Gamer looking to punish the Vi, who tormented him early in the game. He was down, I believe, 5 deaths to the Pantheon, now up 1 level, as well as
He just
30.
needs to survive the lane, because here we see 3 members crashing in the mid lane. They don't have tact to engage for them. This is going to be really scary for the bot lane of Banana Hammock to try to protect this Nexus, this inhibitor.
A little bit too aggressive, but he did his job. Even dying, the inhibitor will likely go down here. I don't see a world in which it doesn't, as it does fall. He sacrificed his life, not worth necessarily a lot, as he has done it 10 times, yet one, maybe the most important death of his, as that's going to allow them for the inhibitor pushing it, as they sort of fall back here, the right move, down 2 players.
Yeah, a big mix step here for Fatboy Gamer. Going down there. I just don't think that Ward Seekers can close out this game now. This game's going to go out longer. They're going to have to attempt again. You can't take this 5v5 fight underneath Nexus towers.
5v4 is the Jackson's down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Worse of an advantage of them. But I think they're doing the right thing here. They're not looking too aggressive, but the Pantheon might punish it, as I'm shown that I could be wrong, although taking out Talk to the Max, Free Young Thug taking out game. And this is very much like game, as they make me correct, I guess. As I said, they were playing it pretty safe, but even playing it safe, they punished the slightest aggression by the defenders with a man up, as the Ashe damage combined with the Ahri damage is just too much. I think it really just beats anything the Ward Seekers could, excuse me, not Ward Seekers, sorry. The Banana Hammock, they just couldn't do as much damage as the Ahri and Ashe, absolutely reverberating it, as that one was a roller coaster of emotions. The middle of that match was some of the wildest League of Legends I've ever watched. Back and forth, and mistakes on both sides. What was the main turning point of this match?
I mean, MVP for the game tonight goes to Free Young Thug. Really only got picked off 1 time, and we saw in that bot lane dragon fight. Other than that, he navigated around team fights. We saw it twice in the mid lane. Pantheon never got on top of Ashe, and even when he did, Braum was right there next to it with the stun, with the shield up. So he got free fire by navigating those fights, being in the right position. And we can see it in the scoreboard, 13, 2, and 8 closed out tonight's game. Although I believe this is we're doing best of 3, correct?
Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it on to an intermission as we look to get into our next match. Stay tuned.
Chase the leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in to the pick phase as Haymakers are going to have the first ban here coming off of the just late game loss by them. We're going to have to see, how do you think their composition might change in order to maybe not necessarily keep them ahead, but just to perhaps middle out their playstyle a little bit and just not fall apart so dramatically late game.
I think if I were them, I would lean really heavy into what worked. Get a really strong abusive top laner, like the Pantheon, maybe a set in there. Just ban the Ashe away, and then maybe go for something a little bit less aggressive. In the support role, maybe a Rakan or maybe a, Karma would be another one. Good, a little bit of poke, a little bit of protection, but keep the pressure in the top lane, not in the bot lane.
Now, I didn't quite look at the damage numbers, but Zerath did provide a certain element as well as a good amount of ranged and poke damage. Do you think they go with that again? Or do you think that might have been part of their problem?
I think they'll probably go that again. Here, looking at the ban the Morgana away first round. On the other side of it, Ward Seekers keeping the Azul and the Kayn ban. However, Vi is banned away. They don't want that in the hands of Vi. Kai'Sa locked in. So we will see something different here from Banana Hammock Haymakers. Kai'Sa instead of the Jhin. We talked about it. Go ahead.
I like this. I think this is the... Honestly, you know what? I take that back. I'm not too sure how I feel about this. This is the opposite. This is as far away from what they played last time. Jhin and Kai'Sa are on two completely different sides of the spectrum, in my opinion. And honestly, to me, that signals that there's a little bit of perhaps indifference in either that, or they played scrims and decided, let's play one aggressive and one passive and see how it goes. But we'll see how that plays into a Sion and Rel, which screams aggressive to me. How do you feel about that?
Ward Seekers are running it back. You've got late game scaling, tank in the top lane. You have a CC jungler. Rel leaning more into the CC. Doesn't have the early game pressure that Xin Zhao does. So they're just leaning really heavy into this late game scaling comp that they executed in game one. And say that again. Wait, Brendan, are you doing a draft? Oh, I'll just step back.
No.
Oh,
They can't hear him.
I'm
All right.
tripping.
Chat, to explain to you guys what just happened, our producer Brendan is in our ear doing God's work, and he tried to give us a little tip off here, but Brett was
I whistle blew.
he missed the memo and he just ratted on us. So as we see, Kaisa Mao is a good composition as we start to sort out our background production. Of course, this is our first casted game, and we appreciate you guys sticking by us as we learn the ropes and get a lot of things sorted, as we do have quite a lot of fun planned for you guys. But Kaisa, Maokai, and Mumu into Scion, Rel, and Trundle are the bits of plays in 3 physical and fairly. Rel's a little bit tanky, right? Little bit of tank there. So we got 3 tanky champs coming in on the side of Wordseekers, looking to just get that late game scaling, big body building against Kaisa, Maokai, and Mumu, who are going to be looking to go in quite a bit. You got a lot of outproducing, just good damage all around. Good stuns by their Mumu, good stuns by the Maokai, and Kaisa there to clean it up.
Yeah, I'm
You're
a
a
little
lot
bit scared
smarter.
here. I'm not. I don't know what
In
we're doing.
terms of
outputting.
So why don't you output a little bit for me here, Brett? Why don't you give me some output on what you think?
I just want a real quick one to say that they put 2 play-by-play casters together for the first stream, and so it's a little bit fun for us. We just like to be loud. So real quick to speed to run bands. Both the Pantheon and the Aatrox Bandwave, they do not want a strong pick into the hands of Vi. But I think you might be onto something. You know, let's run our cheese strat, our niche, the first game, and if it doesn't go well, we'll just snowball the second game. We see kind of like really high level picks here, really strong meta picks. The Maokai, the Mumu, the Kaisa all are in meta now. And on the other side of it, answered by a Trundle and a Vayne. And I'm concerned for that. You have a Mumu curse on somebody, Kaisa is going to just evaporate health bars.
Absolutely. And that Kaisa damage will do a lot into the Rel and Vayne. Vayne's gonna have to just poke and do a good, she's gonna have to keep some distance from that Kaisa. If Kaisa closes that gap, as well with the Maokai. Maokai support or Mumu support? Maokai support, right? Okay. Yep. Maokai support. Just getting those stuns in, getting that big AoE, just punishing the Vayne, who's going to be given some support here by the Rel, as we see the mid lane of Azir and Victor come out last. How do you feel about that one?
I think it's just very mutual handshake. The highlight for me is, I said it in draft number 1, how many bans can you throw away to not get Vi a power pick? Vi gets the Skarner top. We've talked about it in the Discord. I see somebody in chat ask about it. Come join the Discord. That's where all the players are, all the fun is. And Vi is on the cheese pick, the Skarner top.
Cheese pick? Cheese pick, let's think about the potential of maybe even the Amumu top. What would that look like if it were to break out against that Scion?
I'd be scared for that sad little mummy. Sion's a big boy, and you have no opportunity to go in. The stun would cancel the axe, but even if you do manage to kill him, Amumu has no way to run away from that zombie. However, it's a Scion. You don't both mutually scale up, and this is 3 tanks standing in front of a Victor Kaisa.
And let's just talk about that sort of mutual respect between the Azir and the Victor in the mid lane. They're going to be sort of playing their very different styles of game. The Victor looking to scale for the late game. Azir as well. I'd say he's more of a late game scale champ. So we're gonna have to see if he's gonna manage to punish with those those pushes, and play his decoys well enough to get that Victor out of position, or lock him in when Victor can just sit there and send laser beams over and over and over again, just poking down that Azir, getting him out of there. It's gonna be a
Unless
very
I'm
interesting game there.
unless I am wrong, because the number of picks we have this draft that could go to a different role, I'll acknowledge I might be wrong here. But if that is a Trundle in the jungle, uh, it's Yusuf isn't gonna have any CC to help him get somebody to stand still for Azir soldiers to poke them down. Whereas on the other side of it, you have the Maokai or the Mumu, either one, or the Skarner, either one is going to be able to get CC. So the early level ganks are going to go in the favor of Banana Hammock Haymakers. I look at this draft, I just see so many good positives going in the favor of Banana Hammock Haymakers.
I look at this draft, and I see a lot of just lack of range on the side of Word Seekers, and that could just lead. I'm sorry, on the side of Haymakers with that Amumu, Maokai, Kaisa, Skarner. Victor's really only the one with poke, and that's just not gonna play well into the Vayne. Trundle is gonna have that slow, punch him down hard. The Zir is gonna be able to move him out of position. It's just gonna be rough. So early prediction, just looking at the board here, what are you thinking?
I've already said it a bit, but favor leaning into the Banana Hammock Haymakers. I like to see a more traditional draft come out here. I love Maokai, so much CC. But on the other side of it, though, there is so much health drain between Vayne. You got the true damage, and you have the Trundle ult to drain tank somebody down. If they get in a traditional 5v5 just front to back, I think Vayne gets through the front line a lot faster than the Kaisa. So roles are actually going to be flipped here. We're going to have to see Word Seekers get out, get a lead, and get some gold, or else they're just going to lose the team fight.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, match 2 after a beautiful game by the Word Seekers, coming back down from an early defeat, as we are going to throw it on over to our beautiful, impressive preseason video done by such an amazing editor, and we will be right back with you in just a couple of minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in. It's time to find out if Banana Hammock will not choke a little bit of a strong early lead, or if the Ward Seekers will turn it around in the early game. Will we see the same thing we saw last time? Early game play by Banana Hammock, great late game play by Ward Seekers. Will it flip on its head? Vice versa. Who's to find out, as we have a long bit of beautiful Amateur League of Legends coming in.
30 seconds.
How are you
Really?
feeling about this game?
I'm feeling good. I think both teams have really leaned heavy into what they're good at. You can't get the Ash. Vayne is known for being a 1v9 champion if you can get to 3 items. But on the other side of it, Vi got the Skarner top. This is a pick we heard a lot about as they joined the league. It is going to be the Moo of the jungle, Skarner top.
Minions have spawned.
Heard a lot of talk around this pick. Don't give him the Vi. He's going to go Skarner. So we'll have to see. I honestly don't know how this plays out in lane. I'm going in as a fresh as all of you guys.
And let's just put it out there. We have no idea, We are here. It's our job to just figure it out with you guys. Because none of these players, minus it's Yusuf on the Zero right now, none of them have played before. Honestly, Skarner mid could just be, Skarner top could just be a troll pick. They played once in scrims, and somehow he carried it, and we'll never see that again. Who knows? But just some early game poke out here from Commander Brow.
And Free Young Thug has made a name for himself in Game 1. We'll have to see if I can do the same here. Did get a huge lead in Game 1. We'll see if this translations it. However, X Millennia and Lord of the Gap going to get this level 2 spike. And look at the control of the lane they have already, pushing them all the way back. They're going to continue to have an XP lead now for all this laning phase. That's really strong for the Maokai, because now you're going to be able to roam, get your stack lanes out, and you're just never going to be able to get ganked. Kai'Sa's going to farm up and scale. We'll have to see if Lord of the Gap is able to continue to zone Free Young Thug off of CS. It's going to be a huge CS difference here.
If the Kai'Sa can just stay out of that poke, play safely, CS up until that just opportunity comes. Kai'Sa's really a character that's all about just a single opportunity to get in and absolutely destroy, rack up those charges and just wreak havoc. It's going to come down to just split seconds in terms of that, and all they really have to do is maintain that CS, not get pressured too hard. They have some good lane control here, and just keep that going. Same thing in the top lane, really. The Sion, he just needs to capitalize off of his passive whenever he can, and not let the Skarner push him around. He's already got the CS lead, and he has got beautiful ability to just bully the Skarner, not let him get the 1-up. Of course, this game all about just 1-ups, although we'll have to see if the team that gets out ahead early can hold on to that 1-up, as that was not the case in Game 1.
On the top side, our jungler is going to meet face-to-face for the first time. Got some pings coming down here. It is going to look like Cheese Guzzler is going to be able to be the one who secure Scuttle number 1.
The play here by the Trundle to just say, this is mine, thank you, to the Amumu. Not going to let him get a single inch ahead of what he deserves. Mumu's going to just go back into his jungle, farm his frog, take his time, as Amumu not really going to be able to do too much on his own, very much gank reliant in the jungle.
And small detail that we didn't talk about earlier, we did have a swap here, so Igba is going to be the support now for Ward Seekers, and Cheese Guzzler going to the jungle, getting a huge lead. Got the top scuttle, moved down, double scuttled, attack the match. Now 32-24 here in the terms of camps. Up 2 camps on the Mumu. Smallest lead, but a lead is a lead.
And that could help them get ahead early, something they didn't do in the first game, and could just be that little bit. I mean, of course, swapping junglers isn't a little adjustment, but it could make the little bit difference in the early game, which they are maintaining in forms of CS, as well as, of course, the spell drop, as some damage going to come out between top laners here. Sion and Skarner just trading, as Sion's going to come out on top of it. Fatboy doing some good poke, might be able to chase him down, hits him with the slow. Hit in, shield comes up, channels it, hits it, flash and finish. Flash forward top lane. And that is a beautiful play by Fatboy Gaming.
Didn't know if he was going to be able to close the distance. I want to hold my tongue a little bit before we talk about it. Cheese Guzzler hovering the bot lane here, has to recall twice, cancel it twice. He wants this gank. It's going to be Igma to engage. There's the W from Trundle, and there's the pillar, gets the slow, but it's actually going to be X Melina actually pulling off the AD carry on the other side of it. It now has the passive stacks. He's going to be able to fight this one out. Attack the Mac is rotating. X Melina wants even more blood. Trundle, Cheese Guzzler going on the top of the flash forward from the stun though from Attack the Mac. Heal blown, and X Melina takes him down.
That was a beautiful display of flashing forward, hitting the stun, and finishing him off. In and out, nice and clean, barely trading any damage away. In that regard, they decided, probably incorrectly, Igba and Young Thug decided to sort of go back in, not quite knowing how close the Amumu was, threatening in with that flash as well as his Vine pulling him in. Let's just talk about how calm this mid lane is, as opposed to last game. I believe in last game, within 5 minutes, we had a death on either side. This time it's going to be focused more around the top and the bot lane, leaving mids to just sort of do their farming, as I am immediately swallowing my words, as the Maokai is going to roam up and look for a little bit of a gank. But how do you think this sort of difference in focus, not necessarily focus, but in impact between the top and bot lane compared to the mid, how is that going to shape the game, as we saw the RA from Yusuf being so impactful? Does this put more pressure on Young Thug?
We saw Igba kind of, flash forward early on for the kill, and then as it's Yusuf hit level 6, also going forward as soon as he hit the ultimate. Instead, now it's very calm here in the mid lane, and since he wasn't able to gather a lead the way he did in game 1, on the bot side of it, X Melina actually grabbing the lead and always fighting.
Always fighting, as Young Thug is going to get beat down, low on mana. Igba, his sole protectorate, doing his job as he gets hit by the W.
What a beautiful Void Seeker. Beautiful Void Seeker.
Could have been it for him being hit. One more auto attack and gotten that charge off. It would have been game over. Speaking of game over in the top lane, Fatboy's going to hit the unstoppable, charges in, the axe up, and that is a beautiful pick on the Mac, who gets taken down pretty heavily. Will Vi join him as well as Cheese Guzzler going full in, is going to fall to the tower. Little bit of that.
Well, it doesn't look like a cheese stick as much now. Seems very comfortable. Pops the Skarner ultimate as soon as it ends, flashes away just to hold Cheese Guzzler under the tower and let the tower secure the kill for him. However, we're going to see if Fatboy is able to die here. He wants it. He did get the Skarner stun out of it though. Free Young Thug goes into the passive, the ultimate though.
Young Thug picking up the kill on the Kaisa, all alone without that Malkoi to just protect him.
You asked me how, you asked me how the calmness around mid lane affects the rest of the game. I was gonna say it's crucial because now we don't have Free Young Thug coming out here getting a major lead. But right as I was about to say that, they grab a kill onto the Vayne. They're going to get first Drake now because of that pick onto Melina.
And across the board, it's been pretty neutral in terms of gold. This was of course to change that, as well as providing cloud bonus. And Cheese Guzzler backing off, getting in and backing off, something that they did very well in the last game. As we take a look at the gold in between players. lot 600 gold difference in the top lane as opposed to about even in the jungle, a little bit more in terms of the inventory. Mid lane also about 100-ish gold off wow, well, that's gonna change as Victor
It's Joseph with an incredible solo kill going in, used the ignite to grab it, and that's going to be a lead finally, 10 minutes into the game, and it's Yusuf has gold in the pocket.
It's Yusuf, as I said, a character that playing on the Azir, a character that just comes down to a single beautiful play. He pushes him in. Victor just can't poke. He can't do his damage. He's too close for comfort. Speaking of too close for comfort, the sign of Fatboy Gamer getting up and in there with the Vi. Goes for the hammer. It's not quite gonna work. Flashes out. Coming back in on the Skarner. And he's gonna channel the anger. Hits it up. And that's just a beautiful turnaround.
For a second, thought that the Scion ulted the wrong way to escape, but actually turned around to put the DPS out and kill off Vi, and now attack the Mac. Has to spend time here in the top lane for cleanup.
Not the worst outcome for Fatboy Gamer, as he does beat his lane mate, keeps the CS lead, and the jungler out top the Mac, just sort of pulling himself back level with Cheese Guzzler, who, even though down in deaths, has been just maintaining that dominance throughout the jungle. As we see the Malkoy ult trying to catch Cheese Guzzler, and he will just go down there in space. Nobody around him. I'm not too sure what he was doing there. Was Cheese Guzzler the right move to jungle?
I don't know. I personally would have done the same thing. If I saw my jungle counterpart in the top lane, I'd be invading. But they're going to continue to push this forward. Lord the Gap is going to get the CC down. That's why I come here. Garner has the ultimate available, so Igba going to be pulled away to his death.
That's a beautiful play. Just a beautiful pull to punish even the slightest overcommit. As even Young Thug's life is in danger here, as he's going to dive in under tower, the W. Melina just absolutely beautiful with those Void Seekers punishing, as the bot lane, unlike last time, it remained fairly level even in terms of CS. Throughout the last game, Young Thug's going to be getting down quite a bit here, as tower plating going in favor of Milana as well. How's this bot lane looking?
We have almost a complete identity role swap from a pause while if Yosef goes in. Is not managed to get the damage down before the stun of the gravity field went off. Ultimate use and a laser shot down. Commander Brout getting a solo kill onto It's Yosef. Revenge for every other time that he got solo killed.
Gold lead, gold differential, excuse me.
As I was saying, just like an identity swap here has, it was Banana and Ham at Haymakers in game 1. Got a huge gold lead, overextended, and lost it. And now we see, why am I blanking on that?
Ward Seekers.
Ward Seekers doing the exact same here. Three Young Thugs got a kill on the bot lane, had a lead. But as these guys were trying to invade, gets collapsed on, and then since they collapsed on him, Three Young Thugs tried to get some tower playing, overstep, and they punish him.
Speaking of overstepping, Yusuf oversteps into the Momo stun, and Commander Brown gonna absolutely clean him out. Rhyme intended.
Just catching a bush behind, finds out there's a Moo in it. Give me a second kill under Commander Brout. I'm excited to see what he has done. He was on Dahlia duty. This time he is on a really heavy damage-based mid laner. Victor, you get to 3 items, and those lasers can half health somebody.
And I think we're really looking at potentially the same thing as last game, just on the other side. Can the Ward Seekers get that late game scaling, beat them down? Last time is they're starting to just run away with the early game.
continuing to be falling apart here. We have Fat Boy coming here. This Scion is 3-1, but just runs out as soon as he arrives. Cheeseguiler trying to put the damage down. The front line is here. Free Young Sun is going to have a front line in front of him. And here comes the big Yosef play with his near shuffle. Health bar is getting really low, but on the backside of the Exalina is still alive. Picks off one.
Victor. Sorry.
No, you're good. The carries were still alive for Banana Hammock Haymakers and put the DPS down to just end the fight, even though big play coming out of it, Joseph.
And as I unapologetically interrupted you with, that was such a beautiful Victor E, but it doesn't quite do enough damage for them to re-engage. Although they probably could have had their abilities been up, as that fight sort of just amped up and then fizzled right out. We'll have to see how that impacts the dragon coming up here.
Biggest thing is Fat Boy Gamer used his TP to get here, so now it will actually be Banana Hammock Haymaker's advantage. They get an opportunity. Vi's TP is off of cooldown. He can TP to this dragon fight. It's going to be their turn to do a 4v5 fight and see if they can get away with it. They go to Young Thug first here, fighting before they even have to use the TP. Bot lane takes tough trying to get vision here.
And I think you might have read the future, my friend, talking about those big lasers those lasers absolutely shredding the bot lane of Young and continuing to just poke as Sprout, who struggled a little bit last game, is just starting to come alive off of Ari, and that's a beautiful bait play, but Yusuf trades it out. Chase Guzzler going in, doesn't see Talk to the Mac, who dives in, gets a stun, laser comes out, another stun, and that Amumu playing so beautifully with his team, collapsing on any enemy who dares to come within vine range.
Really clever play there by Yosef trying to bait the Maokai underneath tower, but we talked about Commander Brawl even more. Look at the DPS he has to be able to outlast and outdamage these team fights.
Unstoppable coming in, Flash comes out from Talk to the Mac, who's still going to be chased down by the slow, and that's just the Scion looming his big zombie muscles right in front of him.
Flash for Flash.
Pulled in. There comes the zombie. Now gets the kill that might be worth more on that Amumu. Scion can't fall back.
Yeah, disappointing a little bit there for Vi. Flash forward, doesn't get the grab on the free Young Thug, so just grabs the Scion instead.
Works for me. Never, you take what you can get. They wanted Yusuf, and they got a Scion. They bursted down equally as well as they would have, as sort of got tries to get something going there, but nothing really gonna come as they sort of fall back. And again, I think we have another game on our hands that could really go either way. Although there is quite a big gold. Where did this come from? It just was not the case.
As we look at the gold graph, you can kind of see where the gold is in whose pockets. Fat Boy Gamer up about 1,000 gold up on Vi this starter pick. So that's just on a Scion. More gold equals more health. Significant gold lead here on the Kaisa, 6-1, up about 2k gold on 2 items. It doesn't matter how much health Fat Boy Gamer has. This Kaisa is outputting so much damage. Even here we see Cheese Guzzler trying to close the distance, goes into the stealth on the Kaisa W and just getting out of there.
That's also something we identified in the draft stage even, was that Kaisa had melt on those tanks. Speaking of melt, that's a beautiful play by the Kaisa, who will get triggered out by the Vayne. Might not have been worth it in that board down. It's going to go right back to where it developed.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this fight develops. You gotta ask the question, was that worth it? 850 gold shutdown going into the pocket of free thugs. This was really scary for them.
I think that could potential outpiece of for Young Thug. Full play late game down the bot lane. It could come back to fight them, as that's just 2 picks given up for no reason, in my opinion. Are we seeing just... Oh,
I don't know if it was a misstep, you know. All you lose is your Scion. Again, that's your front line. He's gonna grab a couple deaths here and there. And since you killed the Kai'Sa, you want to push your lead as much as possible. Whenever you grab a kill, you're kind of asking the question, what do you get out of this? A kill alone is just 300 gold. A kill and some camps and a tower, you're looking at a 100k gold, 1,000 gold swing here. So off the pick, they want to find something, but we just see the CC layer come out here from Commander Brout and attack the map, holding people underneath tower and letting tower do the work on the health bar. Vi continue using the Skarner ultimate on whoever he needs to find the pick. As we get into about mid-game, late-game failures, we need to find those Skarner ultimates onto the carries, not just the Scion.
Skarner, really such a versatile character in terms of you can just grab one key player, but the problem is that they haven't really been identifying or successfally landing that key player. I mean, they've killed the Scion twice now. It was Skarner all, but what exactly?
Interesting play developing here. It's going to be Manningham and Playmakers driving their second risk of the game. And Word Seekers decide you can have it. We're gonna get the Baron. He's the only person up here to potentially stop this. This is Skarner top. You don't have Smite. Might even take off here. We'll see. He's hovering around really close. I'm getting really nervous for him here.
I think the fight's about to break out as he gets the pull onto the Azir, and that's exactly what I was just talking about. Get a pull on an impact player. We've seen how much Yusuf can do, not necessarily this game, but if he gets ahead or just manages to level it out and can be such a big impact player, they immediately take out the mid laner from the fight, and that gets them mid-tower. And they're going to have that mid-pressure along with Rich Herald, who looks... Yep, he's going to be able to get his hit down on the inhibitor. Don't quite want to break that yet, as they got to regroup and back off as the Baron minions are going to start pushing the other way. But that tower is looking pretty low.
If you decide to trade Drake for Dragon, you better bunker down for the next 2 minutes. You do not want them to be able to... Baron's a game ender, you know? You kill off 4 people, you have souped up minions to be able to take 2 or 3 more extra tower shots. Baron's a game ender. You need a turtle down for the next 2 minutes to make this trade worth it.
It looks like they're getting the memo on that one, falling back. Some recalls coming out, some items to potentially be bought as the Nashers. Excuse me, I think the Nashers was finished earlier for the Kai'Sa, but Kai'Sa getting her 3rd item up as well as Roots. A little bit more. Crown is still on her head, as well as Victor having those 3 items really starting to come into his own, as Scion is going to ult away.
Oh, it's so crucial
combo
there for Vi. Fat Boy Gamer, when he's in the Scion, is unstoppable. You can't see that Vi flash forward and blows Skarner ultimate. You'll get your ultimate back up in maybe 60 seconds, but your flash is going to be down for 2 minutes and a half. You can't flash stun this free Young Thug as they push up with Baron buff. Crucial cooldown blown on the Scion.
We've seen how much those flashes have been impactful this game. Flash forwards just over and over again to get those picks early, as Vi looking to just poke away his movement speed of running that Scion around in circles, as just the health bars don't go down that much.
Great health bars, but Fat Boy Gamer has Hullbreaker. He just wants the tower. He has Hullbreaker built, giving you bonus damage on the tower, giving you bonus damage when you're isolated and alone away from your team. This is a split push Scion we're gonna see.
And Cheese Guzzler looking, lurking, and thinking of what he's gonna do here as the vision comes out on either side. Team fight could break down at any moment, but it looks like they're just playing for their jungle mobs. Clearing up, Mac going for blue. Cheese Guzzler getting that forward pressure from top turtle. As mid is looking like where we're going to be doing our fights. Both dragons down for the meantime.
Yeah, Baron buff has timed out now. Dragon's down for another minute 30. Right now you're just trying to get your vision established, so you know, you can protect yourself from picks and also hopefully find one. So it's going to be Ward Seekers here stepping up into the jungle to get control of it first, but really smart play here by Banana Hammock Haymakers. They move in 4 members. If anybody is looking for some bush camps, you're ready to meet them face to face.
And I think this is quite the shift from last game, as it felt like picks were just going left and right and left and right and up and down, overplaying, and I think we're just witnessing a lot of learning from their mistakes, as well as a bit of a change in team comps, away from a more dive style on either side, both very built around playing off of just team-wide stuns, and that's just going to make these late-game team fights a lot more impactful and interesting.
Keep eyes on Lord of the Gap here. Credit where credit is due. He moves up with these Maokai sacklings. Every time you see it, as they prepare for these objectives to spawn, he is using his sacklings to protect these bushes. He's looking these things fly out, checking, is anybody here? We're going to see a fight break out here.
As it breaks out, Cheese Guzzler is murdered instantly by Milana, and that's the pick. Skyon from the, the Skarner onto the Trundle. Trundle not having the scene in the jungle. Was that bad hit?
I know, you know, no jungler, no smite. I am blown away how quickly they just nailed down the health bar of a Trundle. He evaporated. And now no jungler, no smite.
And that's exactly what you want. Do you think it comes down to the just absolute firepower on the side of that Kai'Sa, or did Trundle overextend a little bit too much there?
I want to say it was disrespect, but if I was in the same shoes, I would have done the same thing. I would not have expected a Skarner to grab me, but that's the decision that I made, and it was a great one. Drake just spawned up, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you take the 50-50 coin flip, we have smite and you don't. So just great play coming out from Vi, grabbing, couldn't get on the 80 carry. Let's see what's next best. Let's get rid of the jungler. Grab the Trundle and pulled him back so fast before Ward Seeker even had a chance to respond to it. He was gone.
And speaking of Vi here, he's getting pressured pretty heavy by the split push Sion, as we talked about earlier. Sion likely to just take the hits on the chin and get some tower damage in. As we look around, Baron, Victor Max gonna dive in and then immediately realize, oh no, Guy shouldn't have done that, as he gets picked off pretty quickly. Bot tower's gonna be going down, and I have lost our stream a little bit here, but Dragon coming out, beautiful play by the Victor.
What a void seeker.
Pushed in and damage. I have Void Seeker. As you mentioned, Kai'Sa cleaning house. The split push not at all as important as Baron going in favor of Banana.
Yeah, I wondered for a second if there was a slight misdirect. They did have vision on it, the attack that had to go in. Flash forward here for Vi. He might finally get this Sion down in the side lane. 450 health on that Heartsteel. It took him about 3 minutes, but he finally whittled down. And that's actually going to be a full ace here for Banana Hammock Haymakers. They have theirs. They're looking for game.
Young Thug up. And as the team starts to flow in, I don't think we're going to have game here. Similar to last time, one wrong step forward at this point. Although they are down the Skarner and the Omni, and they're back, and they're going to fall off, so it doesn't look like we will have a finish this early. Although 29 minutes in is not really early, and a 6,000 gold lead as this game is just sort of dying out of hand. They never really just clawed themselves back into this game as they did last time. Ward Seekers looking for any desperation play that they can get. How do Ward Seekers win this? Is there a way?
caution to think. I really do think we continue to see 5v5 fights break out. Fatboy Gamer TPing in. He either TPs into a 5v5 fight or he's just split pushing the 1v1 against the Skarner. You need to get these Guzzler moving around the map, using that movement speed from the W. Maybe get in a 1v2 up here in the top lane against Vi. We're getting a skirmish between him, Young Thug, and Lord of the Gap next to Lena. That's where you've had your success with this Trundle pick. You're able to drain tank the front line. That doesn't do you much good when there's 3 frontliners. You need to find yourself in a 2v2 or a 3v3 skirmish. And it's just really difficult.
Few and far between in the games. It's just the side of Banana Hammock is just moving so well. They have not really misstepped too much at this point in the game. They're moving like a cohesive unit and are starting to look even more well put together than they did last game. Of course, last game we saw that there were sort of some late game misplays, and I am not seeing a single remnant of that in this time. I'm not too sure if it's down to just learning, you know, going through the sort of baby steps of a first game together, the shakes, getting them out, and just moving on, or just the team comp. Maybe they tried something in the first game that they weren't too comfortable with, but they are playing well with this pokey mid, and just absolute damage coming from the bot lane.
Either way, impressive showing here in the game in week 1 for Banana Hammock, showing that they were flexible team. Lord of the Gap and decided to start up a fight. We have PP coming in from Vi. I'll let you take over from here.
I don't like that. That's the ult really only hit the Scion, but that is the ult that you want to see. Getting in, pulling out as Fatboy throws them, both coming back from Victor. They're just looking and looking and looking, but I think they're happy with that 1 kill. That 1 kill is all they needed to make their way down to Dragon, and it's going to be gone in a heartbeat. Not even a thought of trying to fight that fight as they just clear midwave and are fleeing. But I'm not too sure what the thought process was there. Rel just goes in and gets picked. The ult from Maokai really only hit the Scion. They had a chance to leave, but they thought just a little bit of hesitation in a call there, I'd assume, would be the only reason they really hit in and out like that. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, a slight
what went wrong there.
You know, Maokai Ultimate is a big utility ultimate. That's about, you know, a minute and a half cooldown. So if you blow the Maokai Ultimate, you potentially could be thinking that we have the turnaround now. You know, nobody got onto the Vayne, but as you saw, as soon as Vi got in there, grabbed Rel, pulled her down to the grave, just continue to disrespect the Skarner, not realizing that if you are alone, you will be grabbed and taken down.
You know, as easy as it is to sort of say that it was not the best Maokai ult, we can just be upfront about that, but the way that the team sort of said, okay, that happened, now let's just immediately reset. They didn't hesitate twice, they didn't think about it twice, and they just played the fight perfectly off of one whistle. It just shows that they have a level-headedness to that team. You know, sometimes when I'm playing ranked, one person blows the ult, everyone's just mad, they run away, or they try to int. It's just great coordination from the team to miss the Maokai ult, take a breather, and step in. But I am noticing here Azir with quite a bit of gold, 44 CS difference. He has death cap. You think that makes a difference here? That's a lot of damage.
It makes a world of difference, you know. It's Yusuf has been the playmaker in the mid and early game here for Ward Seekers. And now he, on the Azir pick, we talked about how much of a late game strength it is. He made it there. He really is going to be able, with that tap step, to shred down some of these out bars of the front line and play these fights out front to back and test this Kaisa on DPS output. You know, death cap giving you a percentage of your AP back.
Honestly, the dragon comes in and yeah, you know, death cap does a lot. Couldn't tell you the exact stats, but it is absolutely amazing for this here. Just
We'll see. Watch how fast this bear is going to go down as soon as Itziosa starts to auto attack it. Also, it's going to force them up. It's going to move down.
Oh, Maokai ult. No, and it's a steal! A steal for their Momo. He comes in with the ult. Stun's coming out. Kaisa just absolutely laying damage. Flashes over the wall. And he gets the double. Cheese Guzzler and Fat Boy both low. Maokai cleans out. Of course, Fat Boy will come back. Zombie kill the Kaisa. But this could be game. They're starting to move towards mid. 50 seconds on all of the players as just the whole team swarms mid. How did that steal come about? A beautiful flash ignite, I believe. Or you might have queued in?
Yeah, continue of the dive comp coming out here. Attack the Mac going in with the Mew Q, following up with the ultimate. And out from above from X Melina flying in on the Kaisa. Did go down, but I got out so much DPS with Curse the Mummy activated on all the members before they had the opportunity to turn around. That's going to be game. We're going to a game 3, week 1.
Let's go, baby. What a great way to kick off the season. As we just...
If Skarner gets on top of you.
Deathcap is no match for Skarner, who has had such an impact. If that Skarner doesn't get banned, I'm stupid, because I do not think that team it can counter that. I just don't. They played so well. They pulled, even with the weirdest pulls sometimes, it seemed that they could pull anybody on Ward Seekers. And Banana Hammocks just played so coordinated around it that it didn't matter. They killed them immediately. There was I do not think there was a single ult past 15 minutes that did not result from the Skarner. Excuse me, a single Skarner pull past 15 minutes that did not result in a kill.
They commuted really well, as you're saying. Every time Skarner grabbed somebody, Kaisa was auto attacking that person, and that is going to send us to silver scrapes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. On we'll go, finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest, echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Game 3. Everything on the line. First dibs on the first, not technically the first win. We had a win the other day, but the first tested, live streamed, first Game 3 in Slash history. It all comes down to this and the Skarner ban, of course.
Yeah, as we transition, season 1 was just round robin. Season 2, we're doing best of 3s for the seasonal play. And here we have the first game 3 for the season. Word Seekers and Banana Hammock Haymakers.
LeBlanc, of course, scaring everybody as she is out of here as quick as she was even thought up in the mine. Skarner band top, of course, after those beautiful pulls. Braun gonna be kicked to the curb. What do you think about that one, Brett?
Really interesting. It must be that they thought the Braum was more of a threat than the Ash was. We'll see if they...
Yeah, no Ash ban as Vi's gonna be taken out. Can't say I'm surprised about that one. Kane, of course, always a scary threat. I mean, look at that smile. Who wants to play into a Kane? I know I leave every time I see a Kane in my matchmaking games. Dear pick coming out.
Yeah,
What?
they banned away Udyr in game 1, but they have to take away the Braum. That's the pick that gets through. Let's see how they handle that. How well Tack the Mac plays it. I know it was banned against them in game 1, so that's the pick that slips through.
Kaisa Malkoy. Again, neither of those managed to get even thought of in the ban phase. Not too worried about that bot lane on the side of Ward Seekers, which, come to think of it, bot lane might have had one of the heaviest impact, and yet, besides the Skarner, of course. But what do you think about that Kaisa being on the board? Kaisa Malkoy into the Nautilus Saya.
I like it a lot. Personally, if I was in this position, I would prefer to be in Banana Hammock Haymakers. You have the flexibility with Maokai. It doesn't have to be a Maokai support. This could be Maokai jungle. Ward Seekers on the other side of it have the exact same option. Actually, no, they don't. With the Udyr pick, this is for sure going to be a Nautilus support. So there's just more flexibility for the draft. However, with the Moo locked in, they're showing their hands a lot here. Kind of going for the same front-to-back team fighting comp that they just lost to.
Yeah. This one's a little... They did not
Wait,
really...
no, wait,
ban-
what?
no,
They won.
Yeah.
They won.
they just
Ignore me.
didn't ban the Ward Seekers. Really didn't ban any of the impactful players. I mean, Amumu's still on the board, Kaisa. So they're not really too worried, it seems, about what they were playing. Besides the Skarner, they're just gonna say, you know what? We're gonna do our own thing. They're gonna run the Udyr, the Nautilus, the Zaya. They're just gonna change their comp. Not too concerned with the Haymakers changing theirs. And I really think that shows a lot of competence, confidence in terms of the Word Seekers. They're not too worried about what their opponents are doing. They're gonna take it into their own hands and look to play their game. I think that could really work out for them if they just play as confident as they're picking.
Yeah, I mean, we see a bit of a transition here for Banana Hammocks when it comes to both teams actually transitioning here. All the new bans in the second round, Ari, Jax, Pantheon, and Victor, champions we have seen and champions who had a big impact. So both teams have decided to transition their bans.
And I think that shows that they're all comfortable playing what they want to play. Yeah, they're comfortable in their own shoes. And we have the Orianna coming out on the side of Banana Hammock.
Old school, big wombo combo here, Amumu ultimate. Not only stunning them, applying Curse of the Mummy, which will shred magic resist, and then you have Orianna Bomb on top of him.
And the Syndra gonna come out on the side of Ward Seekers. Playing into that Orianna, what do you think of that matchup between the two?
I favor Syndra in the 1v1 with the ultimate. You just have so much burst, execute. It's point and click with Orianna. You have to aim it. But come to the late game again, you have just such a good wombo combo here between Orianna and Mumu. You don't even have to land it on all 5 members. Land it on 3 members, and that will swing a team fight in your favor. It comes down to timing, but it's actually going to be Ward Seekers going to throw down the gauntlet. Boy Gamer on Garen here. Aggressive laner.
Yeah, into the Shen, I'd assume, in the top lane. Garen against Shen. 2 characters gonna get up close and personal with each other. Now, not too much frontline here for Word Seekers, or unless I guess Udyr could build tall, but Nautilus and Garen gonna be the ones getting in and dirty. I do like this Nautilus hook potential pull on the Kaisa, but then again, that's introducing a can of worms into your front line unless they're going to be able to burst her down. I'm not too sure what the Nautilus is going to be able to do here into Banana Hammock's comp.
Even if you don't get the Kaisa, if you get that Orianna, just even squishier.
Guess that's what they're going to have to go to. They
On the
don't have
back,
that Orianna.
on the back side of it, though, you do have a lot of safety on Ward Seekers. Syndra having own personal appeal with Scatter of the Week. Zaya going to be able to go up into the feathers. You got Disengage. So what that means is you can open up the map, be running a 1-3-1 or a 4-1 with this Garen just solo pushing side lanes. The Shred, if he goes Black Cleaver, he'll win the 1v1 against the Shin. You have Split Push as an option here for Ward Seekers as a win condition. Only problem with that is if you start split pushing and Banana Hammock Haymakers decide to pull the trigger, Shin ults in, you now have 5v4 and just a Garen alone in the side lane.
That would be the most favorable position here for them, as we have the Shen ult potentially being silenced, able to shut down that just transportation ability.
I hadn't even thought about that. So
Powerful.
yeah, the Garen
Yeah.
continuing just having so much of an advantage here in the side lane. Didn't even think that he could stop Shin from entering the team fight.
Pretty well, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this for the bragging rights between 2 brand new teams. Will this pave the way for the future? Well, Banana Hammock and Ward Seekers play this well against other teams? Or do the new kids on the block just have it out for each other? We will find out in just a couple of minutes here. Banana Hammocks versus Ward Seekers, Game 3.
Gut instinct. Put your money on a team.
Ward Seekers all the way, baby.
Banana hammocks, just because of the name. Iconic.
Ward
However, I
Seeker.
really believe in this Oriana Amumu Wombo combo. I believe in it.
I think that the Garen is going to find a way. Syndra's going to dominate lane. Zaya's going to cook. But unbiased caster, the Oriana Wombo combo does scare me. The Kaisa absolutely toasted in the last game as we get right into it.
Meaning candy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with Game 3, the first Game 3 of the regular season of All Amateur League. And let's absolutely get it.
Welcome to
How we
Summoner's
feeling?
Rift.
Chat, Bredicus, how we doing?
I'm having a heart attack over here because Scream almost paused for me.
30 seconds until minions
We got a
spawn.
5-man bush camp here, so I have some anxiety for Ward Seekers also.
Do it. Do it. Go forward, Cheese Guzzler. Be one with the 5 men in front of you.
It's really intriguing. Most of the time in this amateur league that we see Nautilus pick, it's the Nautilus team invading, but they're going for a 5-man spread up here, and it's actually the other team bush camping here.
Minions have spawned.
Yeah, I don't see anything really developing out of this. Cheese
No.
Guzzler's gonna go on down to his red and have a nice little day as, of course, the team.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Both teams not invading, not crossing that kind of line of trust across the river. Because you don't want to throw your game 3 lead on just a flip-flop coin that we guessed better than you did on where you would be on the map.
And I think that just shows that neither team is really getting desperate, you know? The draft phase also showed that that was the case, you know? I mean, very few targeted bans in terms of being afraid of characters. No one from map 2 really, besides the Skarner, but, you know, you can't let the Skarner cook. That's just a given. Either way, the whole team's just really
Nautilus hook.
as a beautiful Nautilus hook shapes what could be the future here in the bot lane. If Young Thug had the E up, would have been game over, but of course level 1 is the level ups really even go the other way as Vi beating down Fatboy Gamer. The silence coming out. Spinnerino out for the Garen as it evens it out. Continued just CS and poke, CS and poke, CS and poke. As it looks like the Shen coming from Vi here, just gonna get it in his favor. Missing a little bit.
Maybe a little
Fatboy
bit
popping all the
cautious here.
potions.
Shin is so good in the early levels. The passive shield you get can just win out heavily on trades so easily.
Speaking of trading, seems to be all preferred out of the fight in the bot lane, as they're just going to keep CSing their way around town until we maybe see another good Nautilus hook. Really good combo from Zaya and Nautilus as Nautilus hits one hook. Zaya gets all of her little knives down and just pulls them back. Ooh.
Especially with the house lead, you know, that Melina has to be scared. You know, like you said, that Nautilus hook can be lethal damage with the amount of health lost in the early trades.
Don't like
Impressive
playing
poke and
Nautilus
control.
against anybody. Neither do these players, but just something I didn't really think would happen into Kaisa, who, as we saw last game, melted the tanks so badly, but good ward pressure from the bot lane is gonna signal the Udyr. Udyr Udyr played here by Igba, someone who has a lot of pressure riding on him. He's sort of the first pick. He's the trendsetter for this team comp. They value him very heavily. If they didn't want to take the Kaisa for themselves, they didn't think about taking the Kaisa off the boards, and they decided that Udyr was going to be their play after just rough trundle play on the lane swap.
Yeah, that was the champion you wanted first. We'll have to see how big of an impact it can make. It's Yosef going in here, Igba hovering around for the gank here. It's Yosef coming out to a really commanding lead here. Has control of the mid lane. Should activate Igba, give him control to move around the map however he wants to, as it's Yosef would be the first mid laner to roam there. Both top laners back up to health bar despite the level 3 fight here. Just continuing just to farm up here.
Can we just talk about the CS difference here?
I
15 to
didn't-
32, what happened? Well, we were a little bit page out of the top lane. Shen getting bullied by the Garen. Probably some like play with the silence, and he's gonna get some back under tower, but just still 13, 12 behind as that slowly ticks up. But either way, might have actually been a smart play taking his own lane under his tower. He's just gonna slowly do what he wants, but just shows that Garen can put pressure when he needs to onto the Shen.
Yeah, by getting control of the wave first, he was able to let it stack up. And as it cracked, yes, we saw Shin pick up about 10 CS. It's Yosef hit level 6, but didn't have mana for ult!
He misses the throw to and the ult. As there goes Syndra flashing Knight as pinged out. Alright.
Just barely running out of mana to be able to get the ultimate down to get the kill. And that's both of the summoners used just to come up short on mana.
Here we go in. And Yusuf roll on mana, as we saw earlier, almost gets punished by Mac.
Oh,
Level 6 yet. Not quite there.
Got unlucky on the mana, but gets lucky on minion wave being there. Minion tanks the stun for its Yosef. This mid lane is still equal. Neither team have a major lead. Garen having the 20 CS lead in the top lane is the only gold lead we have on the map.
I would be slamming my desk if I was take the Mac there. Minion block to the maximum. Tyler 1 desk banging special. As bot lane looks to just be chill. Really nothing going on down here, to be honest. Just sort of poking back and forth. Perfectly
Minion wave did go down. These guys were going to be the one who gets the CC down. Florida the Gap has to use W gets out and instead decides to hook X Melina back to the fight. Good health bar chunk here. And the nice thing about this Udyr pick is he could solo Drake fairly well. He started up all while bot lane was fighting.
And we just talk about the very calm and collected demeanor of the young thug. He knows that the dragon's going to be more important than that commitment. And Cheese Guzzler, he has trust in his support to make the right play. He pokes a little bit, gets out, and just the right play again, and the wrong play from Lord of the Gap. As the flash comes in for Cheese Guzzler, who's just getting those stuns, the slow, the stuns! Cheese Guzzler coming out to a commanding support lead as Yusuf ports it out, and we have more stuns out from Cheese Guzzler as the damage is just followed up by the Udyr and Young Thug, who almost have just the easiest job. Stay behind Cheese Guzzler.
I watched that fight break out, and I loved Cheese Guzzler. Impressive knowledge, just flashed over the wall, got the passive route, waited for it to stall out before he activated his W for the slow, and walked it out the rest of the way, holding onto the hook just to grab him at the tail end of it if he needed to. Just impressive layering of the CC to use it efficiently, you know? You want to get as much slow and downtime on your CC as you can. And on the other side of it, we see it's Yosef get the first solo kill of the game. So that's now 3-0. And it's going to be Day Seekers coming out to a big lead, explosive in the past about minute and a half.
Day Seekers, hopefully they don't fall into the same trap they did in game 1, coming out to about the same lead as they had in the first match. As you all may know, if you weren't here, they did sort of lose it towards the middle of the game, but we saw the brilliant late game plays that they made in the second game, getting those shakes.
Cheese Guzzler is in the top lane.
Cheese Guzzler, a name that we didn't really say too much. The last couple of games really starting to show that he can hang with the big names. We've been talking a lot about Yusuf, a lot about Young Thug. On the other side,
Oh, don't do it, Young Thug. You step up any closer, Lord of the Gap could get you.
Talking about Young Thug's calm demeanor. But going back to that point, Vi and Millennia were both just players that we talked about a lot. Cheese Guzzler sort of just consistently good, but not quite a starter as we see him hit a beautiful hook. Igba's gonna be there to collapse. Young Thug getting his W in. Pulls and ults away. Cheese Guzzler is on fire.
1, 0, and 2 has participated in, 3/4 of the kills here. And each time we've seen it, it's him activating it with the hooks, rotations around the whole map. In the meantime, though, it is going to be Rift Herald grabbed here by Tax the Max since Jungler showed bot side.
That's the right play. That is the right play for them to take control. Now let's take a look at the gold here at the bottom. Let's look at this mid lane, a lane that we've not talked about too much. Of course, there was a lot of action going on the bot lane, so we didn't miss a solo kill by Yusuf. But look at that gold, 500 going to this towards the Syndra. I'm not even gonna say anything. You all just witnessed that. Yusuf absolutely deleting the health bar of Commander Brown. Commander Brown, someone who, as on the Victor last game, didn't get really too much attention in the beginning. He wasn't really doing that much farming, taking his time. But this game, he can't even do that because of the pressure from Yusuf.
Yeah, Yusuf got bored on the Azir picked up the Syndra, has been using Scatter the Weak off of cooldown, constantly looking for an opportunity to engage and trade. And as we've seen it time and time again, as soon as that health bar gets low, he goes all in for the kill. Cheese Guzzler activated again, lands the hook, throws out the death charge though. But on the back of it, Lord of the Gap might put the CS down.
Pull from Young.
But now Vi going underneath tower, and it's just going to be a double kill here. Bot lane is going to be dead.
That rake wasn't quite as big as I thought it was when I yelled like that. Barely missed getting the stun off on Lord of the Gap. That stun could have turned the fight. Cheese Guzzler there just got a little bit too angsty, maybe feeling himself a little bit too much going in. Angsty's not the right word. A little bit too aggressive, so to say.
Oh, I mean, aggressive is the word for what we've seen. As soon as they got in the smallest lead, Cheese Guzzler has been pulling the trigger on these hooks. It's Yusuf constantly training, Fatboy Gamer constantly training the top lane, spin to win up here. Wave has crashed time and time again. A 30 CS lead for this Garen now. Should be able to get Mythic on this back here.
I was gonna say, let's talk about the CS difference in the top lane. I know earlier we were sort of talking about he has a good zone control, you know, it's not too bad. But he's down 800 gold to Shen! What is going on?
It's just the pricing he's been playing over and over again. To give up control of the wave. Fatboy Gamer is going to go in and trade every time he goes in for a last hit. And respectfully, Vi hasn't been taking those trades. You know, you don't want to 50-50 it. You want to stay healthy and tanky so that your team needs you to all in you can. But that's just lost him gold.
And gold is the trick of the trade overall.
Especially on your split pusher.
Especially on your split pusher, of course. And a 2.3 thousand gold across the whole board. As we take a look at this fight starting to come down around Dragon.
Maokai ultimate is down. Only person that's going to land on though is these guys where they're going to engage onto the support. Yes, he is going to go down, but it's Yosef and Youngsun is here playing the DPS back. We saw the feathers get pulled back and two fell. Another one going down to X Molina. A triple kill over to the Via blue team slaying the dragon.
And that's just continuing to add on to this difference for the blue team, also known as the banana hammocks. Of course.
Word seekers. We're trying. Dayseeker's a band. Check them out.
Word seekers, of course. Yeah, you know, we've been going at this. I'm losing my mind. Word seekers dominating, starting to return to the form we saw in game 1. Orianna just falling again, manages to sort of even it out with Yusuf.
Yeah, I mean, it's crucial that they both died, because that's going to be a bounty going over to the Orianna. Just, you know, hats the hurt just a little bit, but still, that's a 1k gold. The difference of boots we can see is Syndra has Mythic, Orianna doesn't.
Mythic making a lot of difference, of course, in terms of just MP as well as the bonus from Ludens, as we slowly start to witness that.
Look at this hook about Juggler lands the hook. X Molina going to go down very slowly. It's Yosef rotating these abilities. Calling them out. Should have Scatter of the Week available now if they want to go on to attack the Mac here. There it is. Nothing new too significant. But on the split push, the Fatboy Gamer grabs tower number 1.
And, you know, I mentioned this a little bit in the pregame. Let's get back to this point after the fight breaks out. And
look at how his health bars go down.
From the point that I was about to get at is that they didn't really ban too heavily into the team comp of the banana hammocks. The Word Seekers decided to play their own game, and that own game, their own game has been confidence. The skill shots from Cheese Guzzler, the beautiful placement of feathers by Young Thug, as well as just Syndra has rarely missed any of her multiple skill shots. Of course, you know, Fat Boy just being big in the top lane, spinning around, not too many skill shots up there, but in the other lanes, they are just confident, they are playing their game, and even though Fat Boy might not have the skill shots, he is bullying. He is not backing down from anything the Vi is throwing at him.
I like it a lot. It's what we see coming out here from Ward Seekers. Just aggressive, confident training coming out in all these lanes. It's Yosef having no shame in using the Q every time it is off cooldown. Fatboy Gamer spinning every time they get in melee range. Cheese Guzzler not backing down, throwing the hook out every time he sees the opportunity for it, even when it costs him his own life. Yes, he's died twice, but your AD carry is 3, 1, and 4.
Now we started to see a little bit of what almost looked like a fight developing there. Should they have taken it? What exactly does Banana Hammocks, not necessarily exactly, but what abouts does Banana Hammocks need to start doing if they have any chance at overturning this 6,000 gold, 7 kill deficit?
They're doing a little bit of it now. You need to get your AD carry in this mid lane so Melina can start picking up waves. You have to get Kaisa onto that second item, Mythic. Since you go static shift first, you don't get Mythic until about 20 minutes. It's going to cost you if you don't get that soon. Drake's going to be up in a minute, and that could be third Drake. At 4 Drakes, you get that Dragon Soul, a permanent buff for the rest of the game. And it's going to be Cloud Soul, so every ability you use, every auto attack is going to have a burst of AD and AP damage on the back end of it. So you got 40 seconds to test this, and it's going to be really scary if you don't. It puts yourself on a 5-minute timer, says, hey, in 5 minutes, we fight no matter what.
It doesn't take Galileo to know that more damage is better. But speaking of damage, Tuck the Mac absolutely getting bursted down, but the Maokai ult's gonna come back in. And the fight is over as quick as it started. Damage, 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 stun, stun, stun.
15 minutes. 15 minutes before Drake spawn. Cheese Guzzler and Igba putting the CC down to pick off the Mac. That's just going to be a dragon going over. There's no way that Banana Hammock Haymakers can even contest this. So it puts them on that 5-minute timer I was talking about. They're going to try to get something on the back end of it. Grab this.
I think they're going to get him here. But he gets away. The W miss from... And they're going to back off. Wow. The W miss from Arena just speaks to the shift in tone here from the Team Banana Ham. His last game, I don't think I saw a single Kaisa W miss, and that is just a demoralizer on top of what has been a rough game for the team.
Halfway Gamer still splitting up. Has to build a flash this time around, but still getting away even the second time they try to collapse on him.
Gets away again. That's gotta hurt.
Another push coming out here. I guess we figure out what Cheese Guzzler likes to do when he's not eating cheese.
Cheese Guzzler has been such an impactful player in this last game. Rather quiet in the last two, doing his job as a support, not being too flashy. But this game, he has been the star for me. Of course, it's Yusuf doing a lot of the work, but if you just look at the kill participation and helping the bot lane, which was the bot lane from Milana and Lord of the Gap was, in my opinion, the main reason that Game 2 went the way it did. Cheese Guzzler has decided that he's going to come in and change that tempo, change the momentum in their favor, and this one is looking almost out of grasp for Banana Hammock.
Good as Kaisa was in Game 2 for them, Kaisa is a short-range AD carry, does not have the longest attack range, and because of that, they picked this Nautilus and continue. We're going to see right here, X Molina playing pretty respectfully, making sure not to step up anywhere he doesn't have a ward, but they're going to install this out. Fastboy Gamer pressuring an inhibitor tower. They don't have to pull the trigger just yet. They can stall this out for a little bit longer.
Shen does have his ult online though. As needed, he can come in and help with this team fight. It looks like he's going to be back. As the team fight, Cheese Guzzler gets a little bit too guzzly up in the front line as his health bar gets guzzled away. How many times can I say guzzled? Find out next time. Either way, that is a beautiful pick onto him. And speaking of beautiful picks, oh, the ult's gonna save him. It's overcommit. They thought they could get him, but the ult's out. Young Thug manages to get away with his life. It's Yusuf continues to banish, but here is the Garen in, spinning away as the silence comes out on Take Mad, and then Garen slams down his Paladin sword from above. And that is not what you want to see. Cheese Guzzler's death, not in vain. The overcommit almost looked bad for the team, but the goal advantage, it's just there. It's too strong. The power coming out from these mythics, these legendaries, is just, gold difference is too big, and the team fight tactics are too good.
They wanted to get 3 young thugs so badly. Both Exalina and Lord of the Gap go underneath towers. Both of them eat power shots and die. Not even getting the AD carry. And you saw on the back of it, Fat Boy Gamer cleaned up house. Baron buff secured for Ward Seekers.
Let's just take a look at the gold. 10,000. Give or take, of course, because, you know, people are shooting things right now. But either way, 10,000 gold. That is hard to recover from. What went wrong, Bredicus, in your opinion? What was the single or couple different catalysts of the downfall here?
It's hard to really think about it retrospectively, but I think it did just come down to disrespecting the Nados pick. You know, we constantly saw people getting hooked about it. First Drake fight, before Drake had even taken, it was Cheese Guzzler landing a hook on to Lord of the Gap, and he got burst down before he was able to participate in the fight. And then he flashed over the wall and gets the CC down on the Moo. After that, it was just hook after hook after hook. One hook landing onto Exalina, one hook landing on Lord of the Gap. And that just created so much of a gold lead for Raya. First time seeing this champion come out here, has so much ability. And then on the other side of it in the mid lane, it's Yosef, again, a very aggressive early game, 7, 1, and 4. And we saw it during lane phase. He called game. He said, Commander Browse, we're going to be fighting all the time. Apparently then, the fight starts right into the game. I think these guys were 3 young thugs just now entering the fight. That's how far it gets low. We're just going to start playing bullets into people's fight after then we play 1 v 4. And it's the fight that they have no chance to fight back. Triple kill for it's Yosef. Look at the damage he's being able to output, even just from the front line.
And it is all but the Baron buff is going to absolutely push these minions down. Inhibitor will go down likely before any of the Banana Hammock players are online. Bottom lane also being pushed in. Nobody really caring about top lane. In fact, just isn't as strong as getting this top push. This game is not necessarily lost by Banana Hammock, but it was absolutely won by Team Ward Seekers. They have played every single bit of their characters well, not a single slight-handed underperformance in any lane, and just capitalizing on even the slightest misstep. Not a single hook missed. Garen split pushing proper. Udyr playing exactly how he needs to, roaming exactly how he needs to. The mid lane dominates, not missing any skill shots as far as the eye could see.
Yeah,
and those beautiful feathers.
You said earlier around Drake Pit, just follow Cheese Guzzler and he'll find you the kills. But big shout outs to Yosef. He hasn't been able to getting a lot of help. The 10, 1, and 4 is just him trying to get solo kills, applying pressure onto Commander Brown, and getting solo kills.
This team managing to rally after a dominant second half of the first game, but not so weak, not so great of a start. Do you think that there's a potential for more problems starting in the future, or do you think that after 2 games, they've sort of ironed their problems in the early game out?
I've been impressed, you know, with week 1. Oh, back to Mac. There's the Wombo combo we were talking about! Look at it, just turn the tide!
Wow, we may have spoken too soon, as that is a big wombo combo. The power between the Oriana and the Amumu just goes to show that they're not out of this yet. Maybe we got a little too ahead of ourselves, but that boy is going to put the pressure on Tatsumaki. He flashes out over the wall, gets back in with a stun. He's going to be smited away. Divine ulted away. It's not necessarily called a smite, but Igba's going to be able to pick on Milan. Igba trying to get Lord of the Gap. He's going to run away, and really no winners on either side of that battle.
Oh, big play, Tackamack landed the Amumu ultimate on the two Guzzler, on to Free Young Thug. Orion ultimate came out. That was the wombo combo we needed to see about 10 minutes earlier, but it's not too late. They pulled it off and are going to hang on longer.
We've had so many just punishes in this just matchup between these two teams. They don't like to let any single click of a mouse get unpunished. Either way, not too much room out of the spawn for Banana Hammock here. They're not really going to be able to do too much with that fight, as only 2 of them survived. And there's no objectives left up, although we do have Baron starting to creep his dragon way out of the water. We'll have to see if Banana Hammock decides it's worth trying. I don't really see any out for them to contest it. Will they even get there before they contest it? It looks like
So terrible, and it's going to cost them.
I don't think they can pull this out with Baron buff.
It's a feel bad. You had to move cautiously through that jungle. You don't want to be caught in a 5-man bush. The death ball that they're moving with right now. But that's not what they decided to. On spawn, they started hitting it, and they punished them for playing cautious. Baron buff, they're marching up top lane, the only inhibitor still standing here. We're going to have to see another big play come out here from Max to engage here before you just start losing billions in your base. Inhibitor tower already going down, inhibitor followed by it. You see, it's so sustained, so far back. Somebody needs to get to them.
That was such a lose-lose situation there at Baron. Neither team, or excuse me, one team just absolutely dominating the pace of play. The other one just didn't have the communication spawn. And speaking of positioning, beautiful stuns coming out from either team. Every button is being pressed, and it's going to come out on the side with the knives, the feathers beating them away, the BM in spawn. And that is game.
What an engage. It's use of beautiful 3-man scatter the week. We saw their health bars go down. 3 people just standing still for Free Young Thug to start throwing feathers out. What an end to the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an interview coming up with one of the standout players from the match. It's Yusuf. Will be in the booth here in just one moment. Yusuf, welcome. What an electric game. Give us the emotion going into the start. Was there a little bit of nerves coming into the first game of Season 2?
Not really nerves. It was just more like excitement, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to play with the boys, you know, and we got it done, man. It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
you got it
3-man
done.
ultimate. Yeah, how did you feel across the picks? You know, played Ari, Syndra, and Azir. How deep does your pool go?
I mean, I like to play a lot of. I don't really like to play the same champ like twice in a game. But then they just because they always ban like LeBlanc, so it's not fun. But LeBlanc's kind of like the funnest champ. But it was pretty good. I think the second game though, we kind of we didn't respect like their vision.
So,
Group things up, you know.
so you mentioned about not respecting their thing in game and their vision in game 2, and sort of it just sort of fell apart for you guys. They had the same draft in game 3, and you guys didn't really ban to avoid it. Why exactly was that the case? Why did you just feel confident enough?
So we weren't really worried about the Amumu and the Maokai, even though they're very strong like crowd control picks. It's just because I feel like if we in game 2 just kind of did what we did in game 3, you know, we're all together, cleared divisions and didn't stop them from having those nice engages, then it was going to be pretty good. I think taking out Victor is pretty good because the Victor snowball is super hard if I'm like behind. And I thought Oriana was pretty easy to play against if I'm picking like a champ like Sinja, for example, where I can actually like snowball myself, you know?
Right. So, oh, go ahead.
We saw the role swap from Cheese Guzzler and Igba between jungle and support. Could we expect some more of that?
Yeah, we're probably going to be swapping all over the team, not just jungle and support. We had it planned today because we knew that they picked Vi, and Igba plays Vi, so what we wanted to do was kind of just, if we're blue side, then we don't ban Vi, we take it first pick, which worked out in game 1. And then when we went on red side, we had Matt jungle because he likes the jungle. You know what I mean? It's just for fun. Like not really strategizing besides that game 1. They did throw a curveball by banning Vi in game 3 though. It's kind of, but they left Udyr open and that's his like main champion.
So that explains the Udyr pick. It was really confident. He played really well. Let's go back to game 1. You guys started off a little bit rough around the edges. You ended up down quite a bit. Did you sort of feel the momentum shift? Because it almost seemed like it towards the halfway point when you guys absolutely started running away with it.
Yeah, I mean, the Pantheon pick into the Jax was pretty strong. I feel like Pantheon was a strong pick and kind of took away all of our, like, the whole map from the top side. We tried to play a little bit for the bot side. Ari against Galio, like, that lane was kind of easy because we're not really fighting a lot. I managed to get a couple kills here and there. But I just assumed that our comp would skill, like, a lot harder, which it did. So we just kind of played around, you know what I mean? Not dying and not snowballing like they did in game 2.
All right, so you said you guys would be swapping around a lot. Is there anything else we should be expecting from Ward Seekers in Season 2?
A lot of swaps and a lot of different unique picks. That's what we like to do, so it'll be fun.
All right. If you have one message for your next opponent, what do you say?
Don't ban the deer.
Don't ban the deer. Ladies and gentlemen, Yusuf, thank you for joining us here in the booth, and thank you for joining us for this game of All Amateur League.
Thank you, guys.